Hey y'all, Rick Rex here, back with another one for you on DCUO, and today we're going to continue to take a look at the nature power set, and we're going to concentrate on the melee DPS loadout. Now we of course will take a look at the mods, the artifacts, the allies, the stats, skill points, and the loadout, and of course we'll take it out for a test drive to see what kind of damage this thing can do. But first, if you like what you see and you want more, hit that like and subscribe button to help keep the channel growing and also to not miss one single update as they drop. Okay, so Nature Melee. As I mentioned last time, the power set was really on the struggle bus big time. Nature has always been one of those powers that was really kind of just pushed aside. And over the years, it's always been a great healer, but those who nature heal were usually caught in the trap on the DPS side. I can seriously remember a time, y'all, when you showed up in a raid and you were nature DPSing and you threw your first power, and you were just on the edge waiting for a kick. Now, the power's major time to shine was when the dev team finally heard the cries of those nature and electric lovers out there and finally focused on those two broken power sets, nature and electric. Now that time unfortunately was brief, but since then, it's kind of somewhat fallen in the background again due to the massive nerf that happened to its supercharges a few years ago, and it didn't seem like the power could really keep up with the other power sets because the DPS just lacked burst powers. So, yes and no. There is a way, my friends, but for my full disclaimer, as with almost every power set, if you plan on melee DPSing, you have to be super speed. It really doesn't provide much of a benefit at all if you aren't, so the risk just simply does not outweigh the reward, and I just don't recommend it. So let's check out what we got on super speed. As always, we'll start out with our wipe mods. In our weapon, we're going replenishing adapter in case we run out of power, we can get it back quickly. And honestly, y'all, if you want to go another way, you sure can because the power set is extremely power friendly, so the choice is really yours here. And in our head, we're going supercharged Neo Venom boost. I'll share a little more on that once we get to the loadout. In our neck, we're going escalating might as always. And in our back, we don't really have any problems with cooldown, so we get to take advantage of that extra damage that comes from Berserker when that situation arises. In our chest, we're going penetrating strikes to take advantage of the reduced defense on NPCs. And in our legs, it's really important, y'all, to get as much health as we possibly can because you are going to take a hit with this playstyle, so we're going Restorative Serpent Call for this one. In our feet, we're going Tumbling Master to keep us out of trouble, and really in today's content, that's almost a necessity, y'all. And in our hands, we're going max damage as always. Now for artifacts, we're using the Trans Strat Quiz combo. Trans for the extra crits that it provides, Strat to leverage those crits into innate damage, and then Quiz for his extra damage, the 1% supercharge return that he gives us, and also Mega Blast when we do a super. Now for allies, we're using Superman for his AoE damage. And y'all, if you don't have Superman leveled, no big deal. Another phenomenal option here is Cyborg. We're also using Batman Who Laughs for his Luck of the Draw ability, and Emperor Aquaman for his buff on Robot Sidekick. Now for the build, we're going to start with weapons. We won't be putting any points here as we just simply won't be using it. And for super speed, we're going to grab our super, Vortex Trap on the second row, and then catch those innates to the lower left, and also, while we're down there, going ahead and grab Whirling Dervish. Now for iconics, we're only going to grab Robot Sidekick and Neo Venom boost here, y'all. And for our skill points, we're going Superpowered Focus, max out our crit attack chance and damage, and then dump everything into Might and Power. Anything left over here has to go directly into health as a melee DPS because remember, y'all, a dead DPS does no DPS. So for comparison's sake, with this build, it puts my might at 176,500. And now for the star of the show, and that's the loadout. So we're going with Serpent Call, Savage Growth, Vortex Trap, and Whirling Dervish, and we're going to pair that up with Robot Sidekick and Neo Venom Boost. So what we have going on here is a damage over time, or a dot, that sets up our power interaction, or our PI. Then we have a burst damage that benefits off of the PI, and then two other powers that hit multiple times per second to inflate that DPS. That's why the loadout really works so well. Now, as a note, do not clip Whirling Dervish, y'all. It puts out a lot of damage, but only if you let it run. Don't get in too much of a hurry to reapply your PI and leave those hits on the table. As a might DPS, those ticks are invaluable, so remember, don't clip, let her rip. Now also, you might have noticed I'm not using Wolf form. I opted for Neo Venom Boost for a pretty simple reason. The damage between the two is pretty level, and that's just one less button that you have to press to get back out of a form change, so that's more time that you can be continually burning, which is always a good thing. So now that we have all of that out of the way, let's go on ahead and check out what kind of damage this thing can do. Okay, awesome work. So our low comes in at 204,561, which is a bit of an anomaly in the parsing, but the high skyrocketed all the way up to 239,946, which is awesome. Now the loadout tends to live or average out around that upper 220s to lower 230s range, so I'm really pleased there. And I have to say, I really like the fact that you don't have too terribly many peaks and valleys in the loadout and damage that it outputs, so you really kind of know what to expect. But even though we did so well on those parses, it's time for my favorite part. Let's drop everything. Man, I love that part. So our big hit comes in at 2,233,023 damage per second. Yeah, that's right, for those of you sitting in the back, that's over 2,200,000 damage in 10 seconds. You want to melt some ads? This is the way. So we followed up our big hit with one in the mid 280s and then two in the mid 240s. So I love it. That's awesome work. Well, y'all, that wraps up Nature's melee DPS, and I'll be back shortly with the AoE range loadout, so stay tuned for that one. Thanks y'all for joining, and once again, if you like what you see and you want more, hit that like and subscribe button to help keep the channel growing and also to not miss one single update as they drop. I'll see y'all next time.